Well, I just had breakfast and it wasn't too good. I think jam and mustard don't mix well. But it was satisfying. I'm full. So I thought I would do some more sanding. How about let's do some sanding today? Today we're going to do some sanding. See how the apple looks now that we have one piece. Take the clamp off. That's so much better, one piece like that. Yeah. All right, well, let's continue on with sanding. More sanding. Going to put the riser below the grapes, like so, and see how that looks. Right, I've put the whole project on this board, which I'm hoping to trace the project when we're done, and then cut the shape out that we're going to glue the pattern onto the board. I put the riser in there and I'm putting the grapes on the riser. I ended up putting some lines on the grapes because they're so confusing, each piece by itself. So the grapes hopefully will help, or those lines on the grapes will hopefully help when I put it back together. And here we are now with that riser underneath the grapes. I think that's going to make it work. Makes it stand up quite nicely. Very cool. All right, back to sanding. How about let's do some sanding? Well, I'm having fun sanding and sanding and sanding and sanding and sanding. I got my finger, it's bleeding and bleeding and bleeding and bleeding, but it's just a flesh wound. And I like how it's going. And remember that background I didn't like? I decided to cut a new one, and I like it much better. Let me show you. Here's the new background, and I made it all one big piece. And I'm thinking of, instead of cutting these apples out and having it setting inside like intarsia, I think I'll have it sitting on top of it. Don't know yet, but I'm thinking that may be what I'm going to do. I'm going to be making the apple, sanding it at an angle so that it doesn't look like it's above the grapes because it's supposed to be behind them a little bit. And same with the orange back there. And it's coming along nicely, sanding, sanding, sanding. The rest of these apple slices with the peel, remember I did the cheater move and glued the peel on? Well, I'm gluing it to all the rest of them. Cheater move, cheater move, cheater move. But we'll see if it works or not. All right, sanding right along. Hello, Sai here. And guess what? I think that I might be done sanding. And I think that I might be ready to do the next part. And I'm excited to show you because it is polishing wood. And I don't do it every time, but I do it every once in a while, and it's really cool because it turns out really, really awesome, especially with the dark color woods. And had a few minor injuries. One sanding finger wasn't so bad. One sanding thumb, that one hurt a little bit longer. And you know, an abrasive sanding injury, and it's just painful. But it's minor, and I'm getting over it, and it doesn't even hurt to touch it now. So anywho, I'm excited to keep on going. Since we've been sanding for, what, like a week now? I'm ready to move on to some polishing, and I'm excited to show you that. All right, let's get going. Okay, here the project is. I've used the 3 different levels of the sandpaper rolled up. And I changed my background, and I like it better, and these are just going to set on top of it. I added a piece to the apple to make it thicker. There's some paper still left there, I'll have to get that off. But I added it to make it thicker so that when you look at the apple from the side, you see red instead of seeing space. what I'm going to do next is I'm going to do a technique using something called Tripoli. And it's a compound, and it's really cool because it allows you to make the wood look shiny. And then you can really see your flaws. Okay, here it is, Tripoli Compound. You can kind of see how it's spelled there, Tripoli. And I mark my wheel, and I use that Tripoli. And because you shouldn't use other compounds with other wheels, or with the same wheel. So I will show you what the wood looks like once we use the compound. It's pretty cool if you ask me. That's why I use it. I don't use it on everything, but I like to use it to make it shiny sometimes. Sometimes the wood doesn't look so good shiny. Okay, I'm gonna do these grapes first. And the purple heart that these grapes are made out of it's pretty hard wood, and it's difficult to shine up. Shows a lot of error, but it's really, really pretty. And so the Tripoli compound does make a brownish tinge. It's okay for darker wood, really noticeable with lighter wood, but let's just see how it does. Tripoli compound. Put some on there like so. So now we're just going to use the Tripoli compound to buff that out and make it really shiny. Alright, this is a different Tripoli than I used before, so I can tell that I don't need to put so much on my wheel. It's pretty thick stuff, but look at that. Isn't that nice and shiny compared to how it was? Look at that. That's with no finish or anything. That is just sanded to 220, and wow, beautiful. Let's do this one. Beautiful! Let's go see how these look. Okay, here we are back again, and we can see now how those polished grapes, how awesomely beautiful they look when they're polished with the Tripoli compared to that. So that's why I love the polish, and that's before we put the finish, you know, the varnish or finish or lacquer or whatever we're going to put on. Just polishing the wood, oh, look, makes it look so crazily good. So crazily good. So I'm going to continue on to polish the other fruit pieces, and we're getting done. There it is with the apple polished. Nice. I've done polish on the apple leaf, one leaf polished and one leaf not, and I really like how the leaf is turning out. Wow, that looks great. I love this Tripoli polish. What's really cool about this Tripoli polish is that I've used it before in other applications, such as polishing gold, and yeah, it's just used in a lot of things. I just polished the pear, and it looks so good. I have to show you. Look at that yellow pear. Woo! I love that compound. Man, look at the red and the purple. Great. We haven't even done this apple yet. Ooh, I'm excited to see what that's gonna look like. Let's do that next. Well, I did that other apple, and all I can say is, wow! You gotta see it. Looky that. Wow! Fantastic. Okay, I'm gonna keep polishing. I'm going to continue on with polishing, and I think that'll wrap us up for today. And next time, I'm hoping to have all the polishing finished and we can move on to gluing. Thank you for joining me. We'll see you next time. Bye.